Winfrey. Is he about to make a major mea culpa?
This is Miss Lily.
Can a full confession and Oprah's forgiveness restore his reputation?
Tornadoes of fire. Incredible images of this family in peril, cut off from escape in the hottest place on
Bruce
earth.
helping me take a picture.
Saved them from the lethal wall of flames.
Hey guys, it's Catherine, Miss Alabama USA 2012.
And America's new it girl
Zeba.
from her boyfriend, Alabama's championship quarterback, as she skyrockets to the most famous woman in America right now. Why does everyone want to be her friend this morning? We'll hear from her on GMA.
From ABC News, live in Times Square, Wednesday,
there's Lily and Zeba. They are both having their little morning phones.
And George Stephanopoulos.
In the Times Square this morning. Good
Promise,
morning,
Lily.
Happy hump day to Robin at home. Sam is in Las Vegas, as you know, to judge the Miss America pageant. Welcome back to Josh from Miami. Robot back again, Ginger Z.
Oh, hi, Zeba.
Busy Wednesday. We've got New Jersey Governor Chris Christie here in the studio.
Both are wavy. One is brown, one is black.
We're going to get him to weigh in on the national debate over gun violence and the White House buzz he always generates.
He does seem to do that indeed, George. And look at this, the latest on a passenger out of control. New video emerging of a man duct taped to his seat after he became very unruly. Yes, there was alcohol involved, but the question is, did the
Bruce, leave the camera alone.
actually did that, from what I understand?
All right. And a real battle royale developing right now between two of America's biggest names, Target and Amazon, and it's going to save all of us money.
Okay, looking forward to that. Let's get right now to Josh with today's top stories.
All right, we're going to begin again with this continuing fight against the flu. This morning, dozens of states are now in the midst of an epidemic. Look here at Illinois, reporting at least 5 deaths with at least 150 other patients in intensive care at this hour. Hospitals struggling to keep up there, and ABC's Alex Perez in the middle of it all. Good morning to you in Chicago, Alex.
Well, good morning, Josh. This is one of the hospitals that had so many flu patients they had to turn some away. This is the earliest start to the flu season in a decade. Many hospitals are scrambling to keep up.
Miss Lily.
This morning, emergency rooms across the country are being inundated with patients fighting the flu. A whopping 41 states are battling widespread outbreaks.
I couldn't breathe even more. My face was all sweaty.
In Chicago, at one point, 8 hospitals were diverting flu patients with non-life-threatening conditions from their own crowded ERs to those with fewer patients.
So it is 7 a.m. We get up about 5:30 here. Lily always is the first to wake me up.
Sits in the emergency department and stops of our space.
In Pennsylvania, so many flu patients, one hospital built a triage outside the
other
ER.
black one
And
with
at
the
hospitals in
blue
Ohio,
collar
those with
is
the flu must wear a
Miss
mask.
Sophie, and
At
Miss
least
Sophie
18
goes to her
children
new
have
home
died from the flu
tomorrow.
this season.
Our office in the last 2 weeks has exploded.
Her dads have been out of town, so she'll stay till they get home.
People seeing their doctor for flu-like symptoms jumped from 2.8% to 5.6%, doubling in just the last month. And doctors say by washing your hands and using hand sanitizer, you can reduce the chances of becoming infected with the flu by as much as 30%. Josh?
All right, thank you, Alex. And again, get your flu shot. Meanwhile, Vice President Joe Biden begins a series of high-level meetings today.
Miss Lily.
For consensus on
What
gun
you
control.
doing?
Tomorrow, he will sit down with a representative from the NRA.
Miss Lily. Lily.
In all schools. White House is also suggesting it may withdraw all U.S. troops from Afghanistan by the end of next year.
What did you didn't do that?
But a negotiating ploy ahead of Afghan President Hamid Karzai's visit to Washington on Friday. And new trouble for Boeing's newest jet, the 787 Dreamliner. Just today, flight had to be canceled because of a reported brake problem. This is the 3rd mishap in 3 days for the 787. Tuesday, a fuel leak was spotted just minutes before takeoff in Boston. Monday, an electrical fire broke out on yet another 787 that had just landed. Take a look at this terrifying scene in Australia. A family, including 5 children, had to race into the water and cling to a dock for hours to escape this massive wildfire that tore through their neighborhood, trapped by a wall of flames. Look at that. They treaded in water up to their chins for 3 hours.
We saw tornadoes of fire just coming across towards us. And the next thing we knew, everything was on fire.
The grandfather eventually found a small boat. Thankfully here, you can see everyone made it out okay. Record heat fueling wildfires across the country. They hope it subsides today. Wildfires in that country, though, no more destruction.
All right, Josh. Thank you. Well, we have a big headline this morning about Lance Armstrong. The cycling star will give his first television interview since being stripped of his Tour de France titles. Sitting down one-on-one with Oprah, ABC's John Locke has the story.
Overnight, Oprah's production company described the new interview with Lance Armstrong as no holds barred and promised the 90-minute conversation will address head-on accusations of cheating and drug use.
I've known Oprah Winfrey 30 years. I promise you, she was not getting on her jet and flying to Austin to hear another denial from Lance Armstrong.
For years, the former 7-time Tour de France champion has staunchly denied doping, even in the face of dwindling support and mounting evidence.
I've never taken performance-enhancing drugs. How many times have I said it?
After a scathing judgment by the U.S. anti-doping agency in October, Armstrong was stripped of his titles, dropped by his sponsors, and forced to step down from the cancer charity he founded. Now some wonder if the embattled cycling star is following a well-worn path to redemption that begins with an emotional, televised mea culpa.
If Oprah blesses you and says, I forgive you, it goes a long way with the American people.
But for Lance Armstrong, who has spent so much energy bitterly fighting accusers and whistleblowers, many are questioning whether even the queen of televised absolution will be able to help his cause.
He torched his enemies. And if he thinks that an apology, a few sentences here and there, he could get his good name back, I just cannot imagine that's the case.
Now, this is a tricky situation not only from a public relations standpoint, but also from a legal perspective. Armstrong faces the potential of financial and civil liability if he were to confess to doping. A lot of people he did business with or rode with will be watching very closely. Amy?
As will the rest of the world. John, thanks so much. George, over to you.
Thank you, Amy. I'm here now.